All right, let's start back on 31. Fourth root of 160. So we have to break 160 down. And let's turn the pen on there. Break 160 down. Well, I'm thinking of 4 times 40. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. You could pick a 2 and an 80. We're all going to get to the same thing. So that's a 2 and a 2. 4 and 10. That's a 2 and a 2. Got quite a few 2s as normal. And 10's a 2 and a 5. Can't go any further. Now remember, it's a fourth root. So it's saying, hey, I need 4 in order to come out. Well, let's see. We have 5 2s, so we'll have 4 there, but only 1 5. So we have this set of 4 2s can come out as a single 2. So we have a single 2 that comes out. Fourth root, again, write it right inside this little fella so it doesn't look like it's 2 to the 4th outside. Left inside, 2 times 5, 10. And there we have that one. All right, we're now going to move on to a few other things. We have to simplify these fractions. Well, to simplify, we need to first simplify the radical and then see what crosses out. So this is going to be 6 plus or minus square root of -8. Now, when we break that down, we're going to have a -1, 2, 2, and 2. I'm not going to do the factor tree. We hopefully can see that, but if you do the factor tree, that's what you'll get. We see that's going to come out as an I, and a 2 is going to come out. So this is going to be a 2I root 2 all over 8. Now what we do is we're going to look at here, here, and here. You're not going to look there. It's only these 3 that I've circled. You're going to say, hey, what can they all be divided by? And they all have to be able to be divided by something. If not, then it can't simplify. You can't have 2 of them. If this were a 3, you say, oh, 6, 3, 8. There's nothing can divide them all. That means it's simplified. Can't take it any further. Well, let's get rid of those markings. And let's say, hey, what can they be divided by? Well, they all can be divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it becomes a 3 plus or minus 1I, which is just I, root 2, all over 4. That's as simple as it gets. 33. We simplify this guy, 3 plus or minus. We break down 27. 27, I know, is a 3 times 3 times 3. So a single 3 comes out. 1 3 is left behind. All over 3. Bunch of 3s here, no big deal. That one, and that one. What can they all be divided by? By 3. So it becomes 1 plus or minus 1 root 3, which is just root 3, all divided by 1, but anything divided by 1 is itself. So there's our final answer for 33. 1 plus or minus the root 3. All right, we've got another problem down here, 34. We break 45 down. You can do it in a factor tree. I can tell you that looks to me in my head as a 3 times 3 times 5. So a 3 is going to come out, a 5 is going to be left behind. And then you have a 3. And again, you could have done a factor tree over here and broken it down. You would have gotten a 3, and a 5. I promise you. You can even see 3 times 3 is 9 times 5, 45. So now we look here, and again, what can these all 3 be divided by? Well, same as above. All divided by 3. So 1 plus or minus 1 root 5, which we just write as root 5, all divided by 1. So boom, we leave it as is. 35. Now notice what you have here is we can write it out, and basically when I'm multiplying, I multiply everybody on top and everybody on bottom. So this would be n, y, 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 over y, y, y. How many y's do you have in the bottom? 10. How many do you have in the top? 10. You can see those are all going to cross away. Because if you have 10 y's up top, 10 y's in the bottom, when you divide them, it's just 1. Now notice, and I'll write this out, we have, and we had all these y's here that crossed out with all the y's here. We have n. Those 5 are going to go with those 5. You're left with a single what? A single n. There's the answer to 35 because you're left with n over 1, which is just n. 36, negative exponents. What do we do with negative exponents? As soon as we see them, we know we're going to be dealing with a fraction. into the negative 30th means, hey, you go down below. Y to the 50th stays up top. Into the negative 20 means he goes down below. Y to the negative 30 means he goes down below. Now, we are not going to want to write all this out. We're going to want to use our head and think. Okay, I'm thinking, I have 50 Y's up top. Y. I have 30 down below. These 30 are going to cross out with 30 of those guys, but it will leave me still with what? 20 Y's up top. Down here in the bottom, I have 30 N's and another 20 N's. That's going to be 50 N's total. So it's Y 20th divided by into the 50th. Number 37. Well, let's clean it up. All negative exponents will move. C to the third doesn't move. Y to the negative 5 says, hey, move me. H negative 1 says, move me. Now, I'm not going to put a 1 there. It's understood. I come to the bottom. C's down below, but it says, hey, I'm negative, so move him up top. W is fine. H is fine. So we clean this up. C over W, H. Well, nobody crosses out. So what do we end up with? Up top, I have C to the 4th. Down below, I have how many W's? 7 of them. And 2 H's, so H squared. There's 37 for us. Let's go to 38. Should have left a little more room here, but that's okay. We clean up the inside of the parentheses first. We have negative exponents, so let's move them. A negative 1 means I'm moving below. B squared stays up top. A stays below. That B negative 3 says move me. C negative 1 says move me. And this is to a negative 2, which we will change to a negative 1 times 2. Remember that trick? Whenever we're raising an entire thing inside parentheses to a negative power, we'll always change it to a negative 1 times whatever number we have there. So this is going to become, we can see it's B to the 5th C over A squared to a negative 1 times 2. We're going to go ahead and now do the reciprocal of that. Well, that just means A squared goes up top, B5C goes to the bottom. And now we're going to square it. So we're going to have an A squared B5C times an A squared B5C. Told you I didn't leave enough room. Up top, AA and AA is A to the 4th. B5 will be B to the 10th. And CC will be C squared. There's our answer to 38. 39 won't take as much room, so it'll work out. 1 to the 10th to the negative 1 times 2. Whenever I have parentheses and I have it to a negative exponent, I'm always going to change it to a negative 1 times that number. This simply means give me the reciprocal of 1/10. Well, that's 10 over 1, or better known as 10. So this is just 10 squared, which gives us 100. 40. I'm going to first clean it up because clean up the insides. So what do I have? Negative 2 A to the 5th. Negative 2 is just there. A to the 5th, negative 5th means move me to the bottom. Please note this time, it's just a simple squaring. So it's negative 2 A to the 5th times negative 2 A to the 5th. That'll give us negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. A to the 5th, A to the 5th, A to the 10th. All right, we'll go ahead and stop there to problem 40, and we'll pick up on the next part.